Welcome to Section 6, Lesson 1, Video 1. In this section, we're going to be looking at surface area and volume of spheres. Now in this video, we're going to look at the surface area of spheres. Now a sphere is a round shape like a ball, like a basketball, baseball, tennis ball, or even a globe. So if you have a sphere with a radius of r, you can find the surface area using this formula here, 4 pi r squared. Now let's look at this formula a little bit closely. Is this connected to any other shape you know? In particular, look at this part of the formula, pi r squared. That is the area of a circle. So the formula for surface area of a sphere comes from the area of the circle. You can see that if you perform this experiment here. So for the experiment, you just need an orange. You start by cutting an orange in half. Then, trace the circumference of the orange 4 times on a sheet of paper. Then peel the orange and fill each circle with the peel the best you can. There might be some overlap or there might be some holes, but what you're going to notice is that it's going to take 4 circles to equal 1 sphere. So that's where we get the formula from, 4 pi r squared. 4 circles equals 1 sphere. So now let's use that formula to find the surface area of each sphere. So in A, I see that the radius is 8 centimeters. So we'll start by writing our formula, 4 pi r squared, and then we'll replace r with 8. So now we can enter this in our calculator, 4 times pi times 8 squared. When you do that, you should get 804.2 centimeters squared. Now in B, I notice that we're given the diameter. So let's start by finding the radius. And we do that by dividing the diameter by 2. So 25 divided by 2 would give us 12.5. So in our formula here, let's replace r with 12.5. Now when you enter that into the calculator, you should get a surface area of 1,963.5 millimeters squared. Now let's look at the surface area of a hemisphere. So on the left here we have a sphere, and on the right we have a hemisphere. A hemisphere is half a sphere. Now we just learned that the surface area of a sphere was 4 pi r squared. So what is the surface area of a hemisphere? Well, you might think it is half it, since a hemisphere is half a sphere, and say that it is 2 pi r squared. But let's look at the hemisphere a little bit more closely. Let's just look at the shaded region. If the whole outside is 4 pi r squared, and you cut it in half, then that shaded region there would be 2 pi r squared. But when you cut the sphere in half, you have now exposed a circle, which is pi r squared. So putting that together tells us that the surface area of a hemisphere is 3 pi r squared. So now let's use that formula to find the surface area of each hemisphere. So let's start with writing out our formula. Now in A, I see that the radius is 0.7. So I'll replace r with 0.7. So now I'll multiply 3 with pi and 0.7 squared to give us a surface area of 4.6 meters squared. Now in B, once again, we got to find the radius. So let's go ahead and divide our diameter by 2. 33 divided by 2 is 16.5. So now we're able to plug that into our formula. 3 times pi times 16.5 squared gives you 2,565.9 inches squared. So let's look at surface area of both a sphere and a hemisphere. You can now move on to the next video, which looks at volume.